Welcome to Nature to Nurture, simply caring for our children, where we explore the simple joys and practices of nurturing children in today's world. I'm Tiffany, your host and guide on this journey of discovery and growth. In each episode, we delve into topics that matter most to parents, caregivers, and anyone passionate about providing loving, meaningful care to little ones. From embracing traditional practices to harnessing the power of nature in child development, we cover it all with a focus on simplicity and heart. So whether you're a seasoned parent looking for fresh insights or a new caregiver eager to learn, join us as we dive into the world of nurturing care practices and celebrate the beauty of childhood. Let's embark on this journey together because every moment spent nurturing a child is a moment of beautiful connection and growth. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Nature to Nurture. I am really excited to share this episode with you because it is about an amazing backpacking trip that I took with my 10-year-old daughter, my good friend, and our dog. We ventured into the Weminuche Wilderness for a 3-day girls-only adventure, and we covered 22 miles, give or take, and it was amazing. It was beautiful. This was our second trip like this, being an only girls trip, backpacking up into the mountains for 3 days. And we were so excited to get started. My friend came in from another state, and we actually had another location chosen. We ended up changing it to be a little bit closer to home base for me and for her to be able to come back. And we were excited. We had it ready to go. We had all of our stuff, not packed, but I mean, we had it, right? We were ready. And we had the dates set. It was happening. The week before we were scheduled to go on this trip, the forecast called for full rain. And we said, you know what? Whatever, let's just go. Rain or shine, we're going to have a great time. So we loaded our backpacks up and we headed into the Weminuche Wilderness for 3 days. It was a time for us to be still and quiet while also moving and pushing our limits and being with each other. It is so amazing what happens when you do things together, when you get to experience something new, something amazing, something challenging together, and how it builds you, it builds your relationships. It was just beautiful. So let me tell you a little bit about the Weminuche Wilderness. It is the largest wilderness area in Colorado, and it covers almost 500,000 acres. This place is magical. It has high alpine forests. We walked along the Pine River, which was a nice flowing mountain river. We also walked along Eileen Creek, which was a little creek even further up into the mountains that actually came through, and we even got to see some crater lakes up in the mountains. So it was amazing. Again, we are talking mountains. I believe our elevation was probably about 9,000 feet, and we went up as well. So this is over in southwest Colorado and just beautiful. Our trip started off with a downpour. We were soaked before we even got going, but that didn't dampen our spirits. The first day's hike was pretty easy without too much elevation gain. In fact, we were walking at pretty much no elevation gain along a beautiful dude ranch and granite peaks. It was amazing, and it was really easy, but it was raining. We finally made it to camp. The rain stopped, and we had a good night. Now, day 2, that was a different story. That climb was tough. We did not have as much weight, so we took it a little bit slower because it was tough, but not too slow because, again, we weren't carrying much. But we were just there to enjoy the journey, and that's what we did. The trails were filled with all kinds of greenery. There was this moss that was hanging down from the trees. We saw marmots and deer and many squirrels that my dog loved to chase. The birds were singing nonstop. It was beautiful. All of our senses were definitely engaged. One of the most memorable moments was running into a herd of free-ranging yaks on our first day. I believe at this time it had just stopped raining, but we still had on our rain jackets, and I was actually carrying my daughter's pack on front of me while I was carrying my pack on the back. This was on the first day going in. And we saw these yaks, and they were so cute. We were so excited about them. So excited, in fact, that my dog started barking at them. And my dog is a herding dog. And so as this was happening, the mama yaks were not so happy because they were little babies, and the mama yaks started getting closer to us. My daughter froze and would not move, and I was holding the dog. So we actually had to bushwhack and circumnavigate these yaks while carrying our backpacks and walking through this really thick brush. But we made it. It was a little bit scary, but it was also memorable. I do have video of it, and so it's really neat to go back and look at how everyone responded in that moment and what the buildup was. And I can remember our hearts racing as we were going through that. We left that experience feeling so powerful and capable, and I love that that's part of our story. Now, packing for the trip did take some thought, as I told you. It wasn't too hard. We made sure that we really did keep it simple. We packed some protein-heavy snacks like nuts and protein bars and jerky. And then we also packed freeze-dried meals, which was great because all we had to bring was a tea kettle to heat up our water with. And so that was perfect. We also brought some liquid IV, and that helped us to just make sure that we were hydrated. And then for our clothing, we really tried to pack the bare minimum. And I mean the bare minimum. We had a change of underwear. We did have 2 changes of socks, an extra just in case, right? A change of leggings, 1 pair of shorts, 1 change for a short sleeve shirt. We had a long sleeve shirt, a sweater, and a rain jacket. And of course, we also brought, most importantly, Crocs or slip-on sandals for when we were at camp. And I am so glad we did, because that first day our shoes were wet, our feet were sore, and it was so nice to slip into those shoes once we put camp up. One of the best conversations that I had with my daughter during this hike was about taking strong steps. She'd get tired and slow down, and I'd tell her, it's okay to move slowly, but move strongly. Strong doesn't have to mean quick. If you're taking your strongest step, you're doing your best, and that's what will move you forward. This really has impacted me every time I go hiking or backpacking, is to remember to take these strong steps. And this is a lesson that I hope she carries forward with her in life, to know that you don't have to move fast, but you do need to do your best. Take that strong step, and you are going to get to where you need to go, no matter what mountains you're facing. Part of our adventure did include making sure that we got water. So we did have to gather water from the creek. We made sure to follow all of our safety precautions. So that was a big key to staying safe out there. So we did have a bear bag. We did also carry bear spray. If you don't know what a bear bag is, you can look those up, but it is simply a, hopefully, smell-proof bag. It's okay if it's not smell-proof, but it's a bag that you can tie up with anything that smells. You can put it up in a tree that is away from you, so you also need rope, and then that way if a bear does come, that bear is nowhere near your campsite, and hopefully they can't get your stinky stuff either. So we did have all of that, but the morning that we were getting ready to leave, my husband was nervous. He had to make sure we had everything. He's like, are you sure you guys can do that? Are you going to be okay? When are you going to be back? And he actually was a little bit more comforted when I let him know that we were bringing a firearm for safety. Animals, yes, but also people. As being 3 girls in the woods, it's a good thing to do. So we did do that, and that definitely reassured him a little bit. We planned to bring some firewood. We even strapped it to our backpack, but before we even left the parking lot, all of the firewood fell out. So we were like, okay, I guess we don't need that. So we ended up without fire during this trip because it was so wet and rainy. But what we did do is we did use our dry time, so we were able to use our rope that we had for the bear bag to go ahead and dry our clothes and our sleeping bags in the morning sun when they got wet. Same thing with our shoes. And it really wasn't too cold. It was chilly, but not too cold. On the 3rd morning, I woke up early and I put up my chair and I watched the sunrise. And it was so beautiful. I told you that moss was hanging down off of the pine trees and the smell of the pines. I mean, the smell when you're out there is so amazing. It's earthy and flowery and amazing. It was so beautiful. I was so grateful. And I was there for about 30 minutes, just me before everyone else woke up, and just soaking in that sun. Like I told you, make sure that you start your day off with some sun, right? Even when backpacking, my body woke up and said, go sit in that sun. And I did, and it was really amazing. At the end of the 2nd day, we were pretty tired. So we spent some time in the tent, and my daughter and friend played Uno, and I did some watercolor painting of the view outside of our tent, and it was perfect and simple. I am so thankful for having a good friend who is part of our family. She gave so much love to my daughter on this trip, and it was really sweet to see that we have such supportive people in our lives. For anyone planning a trip like this, it is smart to start small. Maybe just 1 or 2 miles if you're unsure of your physical capabilities. We knew we were pretty active, so we chose a moderate to hard trail. But planning and packing simple made this trip easier and more enjoyable. If you want to find some trails around you, I highly suggest that you download the All Trails app or look up All Trails on Google. It is one of the best platforms to help you find information about the difficulty level of hikes that are around you, really anywhere. And you can see reviews of different people that have done it, directions on how to get there, pictures, a map, everything you need. So get that app if you are planning a trip, so that way you do have your map and you can find the best trail for you to take. We kept our family informed about our plans, and I let my husband know specifically when to expect to hear from us. Safety was a priority. We had first aid materials for us and the dog, and we made sure not to camp too close to water so that we could avoid the risk of any type of flash floods. Now, research has shown us time and again that nature is incredibly beneficial for both adults and children. For adults, spending time outdoors can reduce stress, improve your mood, and increase overall well-being. And for kids, it's even more impactful. Studies have shown that children who spend time in nature have better concentration, enhanced creativity, and a stronger sense of independence. They also tend to be more physically active and healthy, which is crucial for their overall health and development. One of the beautiful skills that we learn when we are out in nature, and that I specifically spoke about earlier, is the development of resilience. When children face and overcome challenges in the natural world, like hiking a tough trail or navigating around yaks, they build confidence and problem-solving skills. They learn that they can handle difficult situations, which is a valuable lesson that applies to all areas of life. For us, this trip was about bonding, healing, and finding peace in simplicity. Our bag of Jolly Ranchers was a great motivation for my daughter and us throughout the hike. We came back with just a small handful left. And sometimes, yes, I carried my daughter's pack because I wanted to ensure that she enjoyed the trip. It was important for me to push her abilities, but not too far. We all took turns leading the way, checking in with each other about the pace and making any needed adjustments. I want to encourage all the mamas listening to get out there with your family. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just plan thoughtfully, pack smartly, and embrace the simplicity of nature. Take strong steps and create memories that will last a lifetime. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Nature to Nurture. If you enjoyed this story, please share it, rate it, review our podcast, and don't forget to come and follow us over on Facebook, where I am sharing tips, stories, and inspiration for connecting with nature and nurturing our families. You can also check out some cool photos and videos of our trip. Until next time, take strong steps and enjoy the journey.